what are the top 4 benefits of real estate that we should really care about to build generational wealth for our families. I have never met an individual in my years of real estate who has regretted purchasing a home 20 years ago. If you rent it out to tenants, they're literally paying for your equity. So you have the appreciation, and sometimes you can even have cash flow and be making money from the tenants that are living in your property. It's probably never a good idea to buy real estate with that time frame, but it definitely isn't a good idea to invest with that time frame right now. A lot of people obsess over the credit score, but your debt to income ratio is also very important. That's basically a fancy way of saying don't be getting into crazy debt if you're looking to qualify for a real estate property sometime in the near future. Hi Harmonizers, my name is Laura Maluhi, the host of the In Harmony podcast, and welcome back to another episode. So today is a very exciting topic, a little different from the last singleness episodes that we've been doing. We're going to shift it over to a little bit more of a professional financial turn. So in this episode, we're going to be talking about why you should build wealth through real estate. I'm going to dive into kind of the basics on why I invest in real estate versus stocks, retirement accounts, 401ks, all that stuff, why I believe truly that real estate is the best path to building generational wealth. So we're going to get into that and more in this episode. But before we start, if you're not into really lovey-dovey, like mushy stuff, just fast forward like 20, 30 seconds. But I really just wanted to take time to seriously and sincerely thank everybody who came up to me, who messaged me about the last singleness episode. It was one of those episodes where you release it and you kind of wish that nobody listens to it. And I know that sounds bad. You kind of wish and hope that nobody listens to it just because it was very vulnerable for me. And it is very uncomfortable to put yourself and all of your personal situation out there. And I was definitely, I had trepidations about releasing it, but hearing the feedback that it helped people out there, people who were in relationships were watching it, people who were single were watching it, just has made everything worth it. So I won't get into it more than just saying, seriously, your feedback makes me better and it makes this podcast better. And just thank you from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. So now that we're, the next thing so now we're going to move on into the substance of this episode. So why you should build wealth through real estate versus any other strategy. So particularly this episode or this concept is going to be divided into 2 episodes. I made one big outline about my first real estate investment. I'm going to get into the personal information about why I took this route, how I did it, and how much money or how little money I made from my first investment property. So it was so much information that this episode would end up being over an hour long. So I thought it would be a good idea to break it down into 2 episodes so we can really dive deep and it's not an overwhelming amount of information to take in. So first is, why invest in real estate? To give you an idea, my background is in finance and risk management. So I went to school at St. Mary's University, and the finance department there, I learned a lot about stocks, how to minimize risk, insurance, retirement accounts. That was my bread and butter in the business school with my finance background. But still, after I graduated, I decided that I wanted my first investment to not really be focused on stocks, but to be focused on real estate. But we hear a lot of people that are making money through stocks. So what are the benefits of real estate versus taking your money and putting it in the stock market? The first thing that differentiates real estate from stocks is a fancy word called leverage. That's basically a fancy word that explains how blending and financing your investment. So To give you an idea, if you wanted to buy a piece of stock in Apple, in Amazon, in whatever blue chip company, any other stock that you would want to invest in, let's say the stock is worth $100, you would have to take $100 out of your savings accounts and put it into that investment in order to reap the benefits or the losses. But in real estate, you can actually finance your investment. So if you want to purchase a home for $100,000, essentially you would only need to put down $20,000 in order to reap the benefits of that investment. That is one of the biggest things that differentiates real estate versus stocks, and which is why I chose to divest my money in real estate, because I thought, hey, I can obtain the benefits of a real estate investment by only putting 20% down, versus if I take this money, I may get a benefit investing it in this stock, but I would have to put 100% down of that stock. So one of the first and biggest benefit of real estate is the power of leverage. Secondly, are the tax advantages. When you own a piece of real estate investment property, even if it's your primary residence, you can actually get tax benefits to help lower your taxable income when you file your taxes every year. My understanding is that in stocks, you don't have as many tax benefits, but it would definitely be a good idea to talk to your CPA when you're filing your taxes so you can see all of the benefits that you can get from tax savings in real estate versus in the stock market. The next and third difference between real estate and stocks is that, generally speaking, I know there's going to be people who disagree, and that's okay. The stock market is more volatile than the housing market. Making real estate generally is a safer investment. Stock earnings are taxed as capital gains when realized, and also stocks have no tangible value, whereas real estate does. So first in that bullet point is that stocks are more volatile than the housing market. As many of us know, one thing that kind of deterred me from investing in stocks is, as I was learning about stocks when I was getting my degree, I would realize, hey, Nike stock was up here, let's say $54 a share. But when they released this commercial that was perceived as, como se dice, controversial, their stock went down just because they released a commercial. And I, as an investor, have no control over that commercial. They didn't ask for my approval. They literally just released it. And now my interest in the company has declined because of a decision that was made by the higher up executives. So that's something that I didn't really love about stocks, is that there is a lot of uncontrollables because you as the investor are not the owner of that company, essentially. Decisions are being made really without your input. So there's volatility with stocks. Every day the stock market goes up, every day the stock market goes down. But with real estate, it is true that there is recessions, but do you know how many real estate market crashes have happened in the last 100 years in America? Only one. There has only been one real estate crash in the last 100 years, and that was in 2008, 2009. So a lot of the volatility that does happen, there has been real estate recessions in the last 100 years, but actual real estate housing market crashes are very, very, very rare. And something that I love about real estate is that my asset is there. It's something that I have control over. It's something that I can make decisions about and how to utilize it to its maximum capacity. But in stocks, there's many more things that I can't control, which is why I believe that real estate is a safer investment than putting your money in stocks. But it depends on the real estate purchase and the investment. And lastly, stocks have no tangible value, whereas real estate does. That is the perfect segue to transition us into my top 4 benefits of real estate. What are the top 4 benefits of real estate that we should really care about to build generational wealth for our families? The first benefit is the assets. when you own a stock, it's great. There is value in that stock. You can sell it, you can keep it, you can hold it for some time where the value goes up, but you can't really enjoy that stock until the earnings are realized or the dividends, right? But with real estate, it's not an intangible asset, it's a tangible asset. Something that made me really comfortable about buying my first investment property was if whatever happens, I lose my job, I become sick, whatever happens, I can live in this property. I can enjoy this property. I can make something, there's value in this property versus just the financial or the capital value. I can actually use this for my quality of life. And that's one of the biggest benefits of real estate is the asset that you can actually enjoy and touch versus other investments that are intangible. The second benefit of real estate is the equity. As we mentioned, when you purchase real estate, for the most part, you can obtain financing to purchase that property or that real estate investment. Versus a stock, I have to put my full $100 into the stock to receive the benefits. But a piece of real estate, if I want to buy a house for $100,000, I only need to put down $20,000 to receive the benefits of this investment. One of the biggest benefits of real estate is the appreciation. You may not see appreciation in the first year and the second year, but over time, I have never met an individual in my years of real estate who has regretted purchasing a home 20 years ago. There may be volatility in the real estate market, some years more than others, but overall, you'll see that the real estate market kind of trends up like this. And it's not as volatile as you'll see with the stock market that can be a little bit more of a roller coaster ride. So the second biggest benefit of real estate is the equity that you have in your investment. If you purchase this home and let's say you live in it or you rent it out, if you rent it out to tenants, they're literally paying for your equity. So you have the appreciation, and sometimes you can even have cash flow and be making money from the tenants that are living in your property. Even though you only put $20,000 down, you can still obtain the benefits of appreciation and cash flow if you choose to put your money into real estate. The third benefit is, it transitions us perfectly, is cash flow. A lot of times when you put your money into real estate, the value of your home tends to go up as time progresses, but also you can, if you rent it out, you could be making cash flow from that investment that you can use to better the property, to pay for your bills. If you structure your real estate deal correctly, you won't just benefit from the appreciation of your home, the value of it going up every year, but also the cash flow of your tenants that are paying essentially for your mortgage payment and a little bit more. So you can make money with real estate in addition to the appreciation. The fourth benefit of real estate is the tax savings. As we mentioned, me personally, one of the most attractive things to me in purchasing real estate is all the appreciation that I can put on my taxes to lower my taxable income. So writing off maintenance, you can also receive a tax benefit. Check with your CPA. I am not a CPA. This is not tax advice. I'm just saying for my personal taxes, you can even take a deduction for your interest payments. There's many different tax savings that you can have with real estate if you choose to have it as your investment. So those are my top 4 benefits of purchasing real estate versus any other investment. And in the last part of this video, I'm going to share my biggest real estate secrets working with investors, working with homeowners, and working every single day living and breathing real estate. So a lot of people I speak with, whether they're home buyers, whether they're investors, we all try to do our best to time the market. Just an example, this one couple I spoke to way early when I started my career, I remember they were obsessing over the interest rates. They were telling me, no, Lauren, I don't know if right now is a good time to buy because the interest rate just went up this week. I think he told me it's 3.37 now. And last week it was 3.23. So we're thinking maybe in 2 weeks it might go back down to 3.25. And I just remember being like, I have no control over what the interest rate is going to be. But, let me explain to you why it may be a good time to purchase now, because when interest rates, if they do go down anymore, there's probably a bunch of buyers like you who are also going to be flooding into the market. And guess what? Sellers are going to be raising their prices because there's more demand. So sure, you'll be saving 0.045 points on your interest rate, but you may be paying $5,000, $10,000 more because you're going to be competing with multiple offers. And funny enough, I remember this couple actually not going through, and sure enough, within a couple of months, well, actually within a year, not just prices increased substantially, we were receiving offers $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 over asking for new construction. Also, interest rates increased. So I say all of that to say, sometimes when you obsess over the interest rate, you're obsessed with this notion of, I'm going to time the market perfectly. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to crack the code. That is almost an impossible feat. Nobody you speak with, I don't care what TikToker you're listening to, what this expensive course they're trying to sell you, nobody can control the market because there's so many moving factors in the market. CPI, GDP, interest rates, federal funds rate. There's so many things that go on in the market that I don't recommend you obsess over, for example, timing the market perfectly or finding the perfect interest rate, because there's so many things that can happen. My best piece of advice is saving up where you're at right now. Maybe you're a young adult, maybe you're a millennial, maybe you're older, saving up your money and deciding in 2024, in 2025, I am going to have $50,000 saved, $20,000 saved, $30,000 saved to purchase my first real estate investment come hell or high water. It may take time. You may not find the perfect deal, the perfect home out of the jump, but set that savings goal and set that date when you want to purchase your property. That goes perfectly into my next point. Purchase your investments with a 4-year, 5-year, or 6+ year time frame. If you're looking to invest in real estate for only 2 to 3 years, it's probably never a good idea to buy real estate with that time frame, but it definitely isn't a good idea to invest with that time frame right now. Interest rates are higher than they were back in 2020, back in 2021, and if you are looking to make some quick money, there's so many changes that are happening right now that is very risky to only purchase real estate with a 1, 2, or even 3-year time frame. I highly recommend, especially if you're a young adult, is that if you want to invest in real estate, that you have at least a 4-year, 5-year, or 6-year time frame, because that's when you can truly realize the appreciation in your asset and when you can even realize some healthy cash flow in your property. And my last biggest real estate secret is that a lot of people obsess over the credit score, but your debt to income ratio is also very important. That's basically a fancy way of saying don't be getting into crazy debt if you're looking to qualify for a real estate property sometime in the near future. Your credit score is important. They are going to look at it, but a lot of times people obsess over, oh, my credit score is this, my credit score is this. If you just purchased a new car and you're highly leveraged, if you just maxed out on your credit card and you have all of this debt, I highly recommend paying attention to your credit score, but also doing your best to get your debt to income to a healthy ratio, because that is also a really big factor that the lenders look at when they're approving you for a real estate property. So to recap, my 3 biggest advices for investing in real estate is not to obsess over timing the market perfectly, to purchase your investments with a 4, 5, or 6+ year time frame, and to not just obsess over your credit score, but to also pay attention to your debt to income ratio. So that is all that we have for this video. In the next video, we're going to get into the weeds, into the nitty-gritty on how to purchase your first real estate property. I'm going to be sharing with you all this sneaky real estate investment strategy that you can do and that I personally did for my first real estate investment. And I'm also going to be getting open and transparent with you all about how much money or how little money I am currently and personally making in my real estate investment. So make sure to stay tuned for that. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Typically, when inflation goes up, so does housing prices. But although inflation is creeping up every single year, your house payment stays the same if you have a fixed rate mortgage. So